Hi, I'm Amy Stewart. This is Dear Miss Kopp, the sixth book in the Kopp Sisters series. These books are based on the real lives of three sisters, Constance, Norma, and Flored Kopp. But the truth is, I don't really know much about what the Kopps were up to during World War I. I only have one hint, one sentence, in fact, about what Constance was doing during the war, so with this book, I did as much as I could with that one hint. And because I have no idea what the other two sisters, Norma and Flored, were doing, I was free to make it up. I decided to split the sisters up for this book and to send each one of them out to do different things that women might have done during World War I. So this novel is told through letters between the three sisters. I've always loved books of letters, like Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society, or Daddy Longlegs, or 84 Charing Cross Road. And of course, that's how people really did keep in touch during World War I. I read a lot of collections of women's wartime letters and diaries as inspiration for this book. If you've read the other Kopp novels, you know that the middle sister, Norma, has an interest in messenger pigeons that's entirely fictional, but very specific to her. And in this novel, her love of carrier pigeons finally pays off. The Army Signal Corps really did have a pigeon messaging service. And as far as I know, there were no women in that unit, but there were women serving as switchboard operators in the Signal Corps, so I figured it was at least plausible that one woman could find her way into the pigeon unit. And it just so happens that they set up their base of operations in this small village in France. I made not one, but two incredibly difficult research trips to this idyllic village in the French countryside. I met a man who collects artifacts from the American service in World War I, and I toured the old abandoned fort that once housed the U.S. Army's pigeon program. I even met some French-speaking goats that Norma would have passed on her way to work. Now in this book, I have Flored touring the army camps in the United States with real-life vaudeville singer May Ward, who you might remember from Miss Kopp's Midnight Confessions. In my version of events, Flored runs into some trouble that was actually pretty common for women during wartime. In those days, the War Department was very concerned that young women who lived near the army camps could lead soldiers astray. Women were seen as the threat to good military order, and they were seen as a health hazard because women might transmit what they called social diseases, which would weaken the troops and hurt our ability to win the war. Now let's be clear, men with social diseases were treated and released, but women were locked up sometimes for decades under a program called the American Plan that actually lasted into the 1950s. So you're going to find out a little bit about that in this book as well. For Constance's part, I'm just going to give you a little hint. What I know for a fact is that she served her country doing some kind of intelligence work during World War I. Now, I decided to put her in the Bureau of Investigation, which was the name for a brand new organization that later was called the FBI, and I have a personal motive for wanting to do that. My great-grandfather, William Allen, served as interim director of the FBI for about 6 months in 1919. And I really just wanted a way for Constance to meet my great-grandfather. So you're going to be able to read the historical notes in the back of this book and see what's real and what's fiction. And there's a lot more information on my website, so check that out. I also do a lot of Skype chats with book clubs and virtual events, so take a look at all that and get in touch with me. I hope you enjoy the book and stay tuned. There's a lot more to come.